After her mother's death, she moved to a shelter home. But bad luck did not leave him here. One night she opened his eyes due to suffocation and saw the driver of the van bending over him, and she was a 20-year-old young girl. Her name was Maria. Maria was a very beautiful, smart, but shy girl. Maria belonged to a very poor family. She and her mother lived in a dilapidated house. When Maria was 7 years old, she first asked her mother about her father. "Where is my father?" Then Maria's mother told her that your father was not able to take responsibility for both of us because he was addicted to drugs. Instead of running the house together with me, he used to take away from me what I earned. His mother lovingly kissed him on the forehead and said, "So I left him and decided that I would raise my daughter myself." Maria saw the worst days of life with her mother, and due to poverty, she was deprived of the blessing of education. If Maria's mother had left her alone at home, she would have sat silently in a corner of the house, hungry, waiting for her mother, and if his mother had taken him with her. So her mother used to work in people's houses while Maria would sit quietly and watch the children of those people living a prosperous life, eating well, and their children wearing nice clothes and go to school. Seeing all this, Maria's little mind was very confused, and she wondered why there was a difference. Some children are living a good life with all the comforts of the world, and some children are living a deprived life like me. Why did God make this difference? Doesn't God want all children in the world to be happy? Seeing all this, many questions arose in Maria's mind, but she did not have any answers to these questions. Time was passing slowly. Maria was growing young with many unfulfilled desires in her heart, but Maria's troubles were not over yet. God's will needed yet another test of her, but Mary was unaware of this trouble. One night his mother slept, but in the morning she was dead in her bed. Maria's mother died suddenly. Now Maria was alone in this world. Her mother's death was a big shock for her. Her mother was her whole universe. Without her, she never took a single step out of the house, and now her mother was gone from this world. Maria could not sleep at night due to fear. A few days after the mother's death, the landlord came to collect the rent of the house. And when she could not pay the house rent, he asked Maria to leave the house. Maria took her few essentials and went to a shelter home. But even here bad luck did not leave Maria here. A few days had passed since he came to the shelter room. One night, due to suffocation, his eyes opened. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw a terrible sight. A man had his mouth covered with his strong and large hand, and was leaning over him. This man was none other than the driver of the shelter home van. Maria wanted to scream, but the man's strong hand held Maria's mouth tightly. Tears welled up in Maria's eyes helplessly. She was feeling short of breath. And then, suddenly, Maria's eyes went dark. Some time had passed. Then, when Maria regained consciousness, she quickly sat up on the bed and realized that something bad had happened to her. That man had satisfied his lust with Maria's body. Maria wiped the tears from her eyes and decided to talk to the shelter home management in the morning. But Maria was heartbroken to see that no one paid any attention to her. Maria was always scared. She always tried to avoid facing this person. But whenever that person came in front of Maria, he started smiling at Maria, and Maria found his smile very evil. Even when Maria talked to some of the girls in the shelter home, they told Maria that they had been victims of rape. But there was no one in the shelter home to ask this person. Maria was disappointed. She was so scared that now she could not even sleep properly at night. Maria did not sleep every night with the fear that that person might not come again. In these circumstances, she felt very alone. Every day at night, she remembered her mother, and she thought that how great a blessing mother was, how she used to sleep peacefully while she was there. And since her mother was gone from this world, her night's peace was also gone. After almost 2 months, the same night came again. But that night Maria did not sleep. She was awake. And for his own safety, she had also hidden a fruit-cutting knife from the kitchen under his pillow. Maria had her eyes closed when the man came near her. Maria immediately pulled out that knife from under her pillow and stabbed the man on the shoulder. That person immediately moved back and held his shoulder with one hand. Blood was flowing rapidly from his shoulder. Despite the darkness, Maria could see his inflamed eyes staring at her. He was cursing Maria in a low voice and, with one hand, was trying to pull out the knife stuck in his shoulder. Now living in a shelter home was dangerous for Maria. Of course, that person will become Maria's enemy. So Maria thought that it was better to run away from here. Maria got up quickly from her place, and she opened the door of the shelter home and went out. She was running fast on the streets and crying. She didn't understand where she was going. She just kept running. Maria was out of breath while running. Then she sat on the side of the road and started thinking what should be done now. Suddenly it occurred to him that I should take the help of the police. I should go to the police station and tell them that I have been raped. As soon as this thought came to her mind, Maria immediately got up from her seat. And after asking a few people for directions to the police station, she reached the police station. It was late at night when she reached the police station. The police station was also deserted, and no one was there. Maria went inside and saw a man sitting on a chair and dozing. Maria called the man towards her, and he started looking at her with eyes meeting. And then he said with disgust, "Yes, tell me, what's the matter?" Maria immediately started telling him everything. While talking, Maria started crying due to pain. The policeman got up from his chair and came to Maria. Seeing Maria's comfort, he started to shut up Maria's back. While moving his hand on Maria's waist, he held Maria's side. Suddenly, Maria realized that this person's intention was not right either. Involuntarily, Maria took a few steps back from him. But that policeman again took 2 steps forward and forced Maria to sit next to him. As soon as the man came close to Maria, Maria smelled a bad smell from his mouth, Maybe the man had been drinking. Looking at this policeman, the van driver of the shelter home came to Maria's mind again. Maria got angry. She reached out and picked up the telephone set on the table and hit the head of the policeman. The man held his head with both hands, and Maria ran out of the police station. She started running on the streets again. After running aimlessly on the streets for a long time, she reached a bridge. Standing on the bridge, she was thinking, "What is the purpose of my life? This world is so cruel it won't let me live. And what can I do to live? I must die. If I stay in a shelter, that person will keep raping me every day. And even if I stay somewhere outside this shelter home, I will find people like him who want to have my body better than I live my life. Let me finish it." She wiped the tears from her eyes with both hands and was about to jump from the bridge, smiling and remembering her mother, when suddenly she felt a car stopping behind her. And then a voice was heard. That person was saying, "Stop, daughter." Hearing the word daughter, she immediately turned her head and looked at that person and was surprised to think that no one had ever called her daughter except her mother. The man got out of the car and said to Maria, "I don't know what's wrong with you that you want to jump off this bridge, but I want to give you a piece of advice. Come with me and commit suicide tomorrow. Are you hungry? I will give you good food and introduce you to my wife and children. Believe me, my children will be very happy to meet you." Maria got down from the bridge unwillingly because this person's words were expressing her affection. The man opened the car door and asked Maria to sit inside the car. Maria sat in the car with this person, but she was still scared inside. She was thinking that this person would also turn out to be bad. If this person also did something bad to Maria, what will she do? After driving for a while, he stopped the car in front of the hotel and said to Maria, "Daughter, let's eat." He took Maria with him and went inside the hotel. He ordered a very good meal. Maria had eaten a good meal after many days. While eating, the man looked at Maria's face with compassionate eyes. Then he paid the bill for the food and again took Maria with him in the car towards his home. The man sat in the car and took out his mobile phone from his pocket and started dialing the number. Maria was looking at him intently. On the other side, the bell was probably ringing. Then the man smiled and said, "Hello, sweetheart. I want to tell you something. I have found a doll here from the street, whose name is Maria. I am bringing her at home." After saying this, he hung up the phone. Maria still couldn't believe in her eyes that she could find a good person. Because of her bad experience at the shelter home and the behavior of the policeman that night, she believed that all the people in the world are bad. Now it seemed to him that all this was a deception of his eyes. When the man reached his home with Maria, his wife welcomed Maria with joy. The woman kissed Maria's forehead very lovingly, hugged her, and said, "Welcome home, my daughter." And the children were also very friendly. They were all treating Maria as if they had known her for a long time. This man had 3 children, 2 sons, and 1 daughter. All would mingle with Maria. A week had passed while Maria was living in this person's house. After a week, this person also admitted Maria to school. His wife took Maria with her for shopping, and she bought a lot of clothes for Maria. After about 2 months, Maria came to know that the man and his wife did not have any own children. All 4 children, including Maria, are orphans. The man who had found them on the streets, like Maria, and took them into his home, and was now raising them as his own children. Maria was surprised to know all this. She was thinking that a person can be as good as he is. None of these 2 husbands and wives even mentioned that these 4 children were not their own. Now Maria also goes to school, and she is living a comfortable life. There is no lack of anything in her life. Maria got an education. After completing her college education, she was now enrolled in the university. When Maria reached the age of marriage, this man married Maria with one of his own sons. The son he adopted was like Maria. Even after marriage, Maria lives in the house of the same person. Both husband and wife are old now. Maria loves them very much and cares for them both very much. Even after marriage, Maria did not finish her education. His education is still ongoing. Maria often misses her mother. Tears come to her eyes when she remembers her mother, and she often thinks and wishes that her mother could also see good days in her life. And Maria, who once thought she was born with bad luck, was now proud of her luck. Even today, when she thinks about her life, her belief becomes firm that there are still good people in the world. Even the world remains because of good people. Even so, when Maria's eyes fall on the faces of these 2 husbands and wives, she prays to her parents from the bottom of her heart. If you like our video, then like the video and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.